Alright, so let's begin. Let's begin with this seminar, this presentation, this launch of the 2025 C version of CYPE. My name is Afonso Solac. I'm civil engineer and I work here at CYPE as marketing director. I'll be here today with you in this section, sharing the main new features and improvements that were implemented in CYPE software 2025 C version. Okay, let's begin just understanding a little bit what is a new update like this. Remembering that CYPE have during a year some updates with new features, new modules, sometimes new software. Okay, and in this case we have on November 4th, 2024, a new release that is this one. Okay, so the release was yesterday. Today is the second day of this release, and we'll be exploring a little bit the main new features that were launched yesterday. Okay, just remembering that this session is being recorded, so if you have any doubt, if you want to watch again parts of this seminar, feel free to search for it on our YouTube channel or also in our website. Probably tomorrow you'll find this recording there. Okay, and if you have also any comment or any suggestion, you can send us a message using the chat that is available on the GoToWebinar tool. Or if you are watching us on YouTube, you can leave a comment. That will be very welcome for us. Okay. Actually, during this seminar and this launch, we divided these improvements in different seminars. This is just the first one. So today, that is November 5th, we have the main new features and improvements. I will try to show you. Let me see here. I have 18 different 18 different features that I've selected. They are not all of them. We have much more than this, but considering the time of these presentations, we must select some of them. But then we will have some specific topics or some specific webinars in the next days, talking a little bit more about some of these features that are more complete. For example, one specific telling the new options that we have at CYPEFIRE hydraulic systems. Okay, CYPEFIRE hydraulic systems in this version received new options, especially related to the fittings of the pipings, the piping system. We also have a webinar that's going to be specific about the calculating sinking loads in deep foundations using concrete piles, and also another one to the precast, designing precast concrete joist floor slabs with CYPECAD. Okay, so this is just the first one. I invite you to register, not just in this one, but also in the others. That will be very interesting. And if you are working with these softwares here, you'll probably learn something new. Okay, I'll leave this link in the chat option, or you have a panel where you can see the links where I share. So you can open this link and then register. Okay. Okay, if I deactivate my camera, we'll have more space on the screen. Then you can see all the options. It's going to be better for you to see all the options. So let's begin. Um, Remembering that you can find the list of new features in this link here. Okay, in this option in our website, solutions, latest new features, and here you can see the lists that we publish with the upgrades that we add to our software. Okay, in this case is the same situation, published it yesterday, November 4th, and here you can find all the details, all the topics that we'll be trying to explore today. Although here you find more information, probably because there are a lot of options that I think we don't have time to cover in a seminar like this. Okay, so I really recommend you to come here, open this list, and read a little bit. It's gonna be very useful. Okay, so let's begin with some new features. I have here in my notebook a specific order to show the features, and I've selected to the first part of the presentation those features that are common to different softwares. They are not something specific just for one software. So I'll open here my CYPE menu, okay? My CYPE menu that is already updated to 2025 C version. And I will open here CYPE Architecture, one of my favorites softwares here at CYPE. And I'll use CYPE Architecture as the example to show this new common options that we have. But remembering, they are not just available for CYPE architecture, but also for other softwares at CYPE. Okay. The first one, it's already here in this first main menu that we have in other softwares. When we open the software, we have always a file tab, a recent files tab, and also this help option. And here in this help option, we have three new buttons. Okay, so from here you can contact directly our technical support. So you'll be linked to our website where you have four different options to contact us. Okay, the first one, if you have any doubt on something specific, try to find it in the FAQs. Sometimes your doubts are documented here. So there's a huge list of frequent asked questions that maybe can save your day, especially if it's during the night or during weekend and you have a project to finish. Okay. The second option is you have a contact form where you can leave your data, leave your doubts, and then send this information to us. There's also an option to send your inquiries by mail or even to call us by phone. Okay, so this technical support area is now available also here in this help tab that is available in our software. Okay, a second option that is available here is the user community link. There are two different user communities that talk a little bit about CYPE, and we can see here both of them available in this link. Okay, one of them for Spanish spoken users called Solo Arquitectura, and another one that is very popular, very famous, maybe between you because it's BIMserver.center. BIMserver.center, that is our CDE, our common data environment, but it's also a community where you can share your projects, you can share the evolution of your models, and you can also interact with other users. So here you can find more information about these communities just clicking on this button that is available here, the user community button. Okay, and the third one that I think it's maybe the most important is the learning resources option. The learning resources option, it's a library of learning resources, okay, that is classified by software. You can filter here using one of these tabs here, these menus, and when you open one of these softwares, you find different types of learning resources. For example, the quick start guides with videos telling how to start with the program, or some videos, tutorials, webinars. Here you can also find all the PDFs, like for example, like the manuals, the reports, and other documents. And you can also find here the frequent asked questions, in this case classified by program. So in this case would be just the FAQ of CYPE 3D. Okay, so it's a very useful option that is now available in the main menu of each program. Just look for it on the help panel, okay, when you run the software for the first time. Okay. All right, so let's open a project here at CYPE Architecture. We'll use this project to see some other features. I have here a little model that is one of the examples that we have in the software. So you can find this same model just using the option that is available here in this corner to open the examples. Okay, so let's wait a little bit to load the CYPE Architectures interface, this little module here. And another new feature that we have here, and it's available again for different softwares, it's this new option that we have here when you move this tabs, these windows. Okay, so these windows you can personalize how you wanna create your workspace. Okay, so when you grab one of these windows, you can move it and create your own workspace. And you can, if you have more than one monitor, for example, you can send it to a second monitor, for example. And the new feature that we have here is when you try to put it somewhere like this, you see the final position of this menu in blue, in this light blue color, helping you to understand how uh, this uh, these windows will be located when you release the mouse. Okay, so it's a very small detail, very discreet change, but helps a lot, because when you see this little blue area, you understand what's going to happen when you release the button. Okay, remembering that you can reset the default option using this button here, the window, and reset the window layout by clicking here. Okay. All right, using CYPE architecture again as an example, there is another option that is available here. Okay, actually it's an improvement related to the DXF and DWG templates. Okay, so here we can upload files from our computer, DWG and DXF files. Okay, and when you upload these files, now you can upload files from more recent versions of AutoCAD 2025, for example, and the options that we have to scale, move, rotate, all the options that are available here, change the origin of the coordinates of a template, they are much faster than the previous versions. And when you change something here, it's going to be a live change. For example, if I change my origin, I can see the new origin here. Okay. In the past versions, it was necessary to accept and to then see the change. And now you can just select or change something here related to the scale, the area that is, for example, available, that is very useful. Okay, and then it's going to be updated in the same moment that you do that. Okay. So let's see now some options that are available here at CYPE architecture, some specific options of CYPE architecture. Okay, we have here one option that's going to be available. It's available in the architecture tab. Okay, here we have a new button that is the car park button. Okay, we use this button to introduce these car parks here. Okay, but before we use it, we must create the types of parking spaces here in the types option. Okay, in the library of types that we have in our project. For example, in my case, I have created here two situations, one that I've called parking space and another one that I called accessible parking space. Okay, so here you can personalize the name, you can add a description, you can add some text, you can decide the size and the angle of this parking spaces, and also change the colors. You have here a line and also a fill in this case. Okay, if we activate this option here of accessible, we will see some new options here, some extra options. So we can add a lateral approach space that could be in the left or in the right of the space, the size of this oops, sorry, this is too big, the size of this this space. We can also decide if you want to add a rear approach space. Also, again, we can personalize the size and the colors. Okay, so here we can create all the sizes or the types of parking spaces that we have in the project. And then when we come back to the model, we can introduce uh, these elements here in the project. To do it, I just select here the options. I have three options. The first one is individual entry. So the name says, let's introduce one individual element. You can see that I can change the angle of these elements if I want. Okay. And the second option that we have here is multiple entry. Okay, let me just open a little bit more this little window here. just to show to you that here I can select which one of the types that I want to introduce according to those that we've created a while before. Okay, and then we select an insertion point. For example, I'll take this one, and how we introduce it, perpendicular or parallel. I'll take it on parallel, for example, and I will get this little point here, and I will put it until this point here, and then this park space will be introduced. Okay, each one of these park spaces are actually introduced individually, although the introduction was multiple, but they are different elements. It's not one single element with multiple spaces. Okay, so this is a quite nice option. It's now available here at CYPE Architecture, remembering that this is a BIM model. This is not just a 3D element, so this information will be not just the graphical information, but now we know what kind of parking spaces that we have and how much and etc. It's a BIM model. Okay, another option that is also available here at CYPE Architecture, in this case it's available here in the Furniture tab. It's quite similar to the first one. It's this one here, the option to introduce signs. Okay, uh, here the situation it's quite similar. Instead of creating your types of signs, here we have catalogs. So here you can see, you can download these signs from different manufacturers that are connected to our software. So if you click here, you can manage these catalogs. So there is this manufacturer available here. You can download selecting one country that is available for this catalog. Okay, but there are also other catalogs from other manufacturers that are available here, so you can also download more than one. Okay, you select in the manufacturer that you want to work. Once you download this information, you can finish closing this tab, and then you can use the option to introduce these signs. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. So let's click here. You see that there's a new option here. My sign is there. It's getting the surfaces that I wanna use to as a reference. No, it's gonna snap the wall in this case. You see that it's empty in this case, but we can fill this data clicking here, and then we'll select one of the models or one of the signs from the catalogs that we've just downloaded before, uh, selecting the navigating between manufacturers or parts of the catalog. You can see that the three manufacturers that I've downloaded are available here, and in this case, in this manufacturer, we have different categories of signs and also different sizes. Okay, so you just select the the the, the sign that you wanna introduce in your project, and it's gonna be introduced according to the data of this manufacturer. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the structures category. Okay, before we really start with the softwares, let me open here the list of new features, because there is a impressive list of new codes that were implemented in this version. Okay, so here we have this a section here, implementing codes and improving their enforcement. Okay, so we have new codes for rolled and welded steel structures in Russia and Vietnam. Okay, we also introduced or updated the loads on structures, the wind loads in this case, for Mexico, Luxembourg, Latvia, Finland, and Serbia. Okay. Um, Related to snow loads, we updated also Luxembourg, Latvia, Finland, and Serbia. Telecommunications, we introduced the Chilean code. Okay. And for fire safety, we introduced the European Union International Code for smoke and heat control systems. Okay, so in this area of our list of new features, you can find these new codes. And remembering that all the codes there are, you can also consult these codes in this option here, that is the implemented codes on our software. where you can filter by country, you can filter by category, selecting here one specific filter that you want to apply, and then check if the code is you need it's available or not in our software. Okay, so yeah, part of these codes are for structure design. So I could say that this is one of the the 18 new features that I would mention to you in this seminar. Okay, let me check it here in my notebook. All right, so the main feature, I think the most important feature that we have here at CYPECAD in this version is this new module that we have here. Calculation of sinking loads um, in foundation elements in piles. Okay, actually it's a model that is available for CYPECAD, for CYPE 3D, and for software that we have that is just for the design of foundation elements called foundation elements. Okay, um, let's see this example. My idea is not to see everything from this model, but let me show to you at least how you can open these menus, where you can find these options, what kind of results we can get. Okay, so let's open CyPECAD here. I have a little project just with one column, okay, just to show how we can introduce the pile caps and then introduce the piles to see how this option works. Okay, so I'm in the beam definition tab here in the foundations option. Okay, if I open this option, I will have this little menu here, and here I can create new foundation elements. Okay, um, we have here reinforced concrete footings, we have mass concrete footing, and we have pile caps. This is not new. Actually, this option was available um, in the previous versions. Okay, and the difference that we have now is inside of this option here in the selection of pile. In the previous version, there was an option called generic pile where you can create piles. Okay, um, and here you must decide the carrying capacity of these piles. sorry. The idea here is just to check if a specific pile, maybe a pile that you analyze, you design using another mean, maybe it's a precast pile and you have this information, so you can introduce this data here, and then you can check if this pile is enough or not to the to this to the situations of your project or not. The new option actually is here. So where you can calculate the sinking load. So it's a geotechnical analysis, okay? And here you can also create your pile. For example, create here a pile that's going to be a 30 centimeters circular pile. Okay, could be squared or circular. The diameter in this case is going to be 300 millimeters. Here we can decide the length and the penetration of the element. If we open here, we can understand a little bit better what it means. So this is the length of the pile, and this is the penetration. Okay, it's according to these letters here. So for example, I'll create a pile that's for example 12 meters long and 10 centimeters of penetration. We can also set if it's a precast uh, uh, element or on-site concrete element. Okay, and then the next step is start creating adding in our project the information related to the soil properties where this pile will be introduced. Okay, we can create a library of terrains of soils here. In my case, I don't have my library, so I'll create a new one using this button. So I'll call it terrain 1, okay? And in this terrain, we will add actually different soil layers with different thickness and depth, okay? So for example, the first one I will open here, and I have some information to introduce. So a name for the soil, the type of soil, if it's cohesive, if it's granular, if it's rock, the bulk density, the simple compression resistance, the data related to this soil or this soil layer. Okay, but using this blue arrow, we have here a library of properties that you can also use as reference. Of course, you can edit it later or get information from the field, but here you can use as a reference. You can select here gravel, dense sand, silt, hard clay. Okay, so for example, I'll start with a layer of silt, okay, with some properties here. This, if you see, when I accept the selection, everything was updated according to the information that was available in the sample. Okay, so I'll put here the silt. Let's add a thickness to this silt. For example, let's imagine it's 2 meters of silk. Okay, as you can see here, I have a graphical representation of this layer. Let's add a second layer. I'll do the same. I'll take here from the library, for example, I don't know, I'll take here some sand, for example, mm, medium dense sand, for example. Let's imagine this medium dense sand have I don't know 7 meters of thickness. Okay, then let's add one more. For example, let's take a sandstone. No, let's take a gravel, for example. Okay, let's take a gravel and this gravel, let's add like 6 meters, for example. So I'm creating here the soil profile. I'm creating here the layers with the geotechnical properties of each one of these layers, and my piles will be then introduced in these layers. Okay, so the terrain one was created here. It's now I can use these options here to save it to my computer and use in future projects if I want. Okay, and here I can also define if we have, for example, a different elevation according to the natural ground, or defining the excavation depth here, or even if we have water table, we can decide the position of that. Okay, to have more. It's the information that was actually missing here to finish the definition of the terrain. Okay. Also, we have the pile selected, so we know the type of pile and we know the terrain where this pile will be introduced. Now we have the selection of pile action completed. Now we can select what type of pile cap we will have. For example, I can select one pile cap with 3 piles, with 4 piles, with multiple piles. Okay, I'll take, for example, this one. Okay, I will accept, and I will click on my column, and the pile cap will be introduced. Okay. Uh, if I use these options here to design, to check, I can get some information from these pile caps. Okay. So, for example, let me open here the foundations. Let me get this guy here, foundation elements, with this option here. If I click here, I can see the details of the reinforcement. We can see here the position of these pile caps, and here in the code checks, if I'm not wrong, we'll see the results for the pile cap, okay, and also for the piles itself. In this case, we are analyzing sinking, okay, and in future versions, we'll be launching new modules to also to design the reinforcements of these piles. Okay, so this is a first module of a total of 3 modules that we are developing for the design of piles for CYPECAD, CYPE 3D. In this case, we have launched this option to calculate the sinking load of the elements. Okay. In the next days, I think it's gonna be maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow. I don't remember. Let me see here. We have a specific seminar with more details about this option. So I invite you to check our website and subscribe to this seminar to understand a little bit more how it works. Okay. So there's another feature after analyzing the project. Okay, after if we already have our results. So if we come here to the results tab, in the same option that we have to export IFC, for example, now we have this option here to export to CSV format. Okay, something that is going to be very useful, especially if you need to design part of the structure or maybe the foundations with a different method or a different software that is not CYPE. Okay, if you need to send this data to someone. So here you can create sets or lists of files, CSV files, including different type of information. Let's create one here. For example, we can get information from the forces in columns, shear walls, and walls, or we can get the information from the starts of columns, shear walls, and walls, or geometric data from columns, geometric data from shear walls and walls. Okay, and then we can select which we can set which columns of our CSV file we want to have. Okay, for example, I'll take all the normal forces in the columns of our project. So I will maintain selected just the columns. Okay, I will unselect everything here. I will select one column that's going to be the name of the name of the support, the name of the column. Another one that could be, for example, the dimensions, and another one that could be, for example, the normal forces. Okay, and here we can also select it's going to be if it's going to be by load case or considering a combination. For example, selecting here by material or the combinations. Okay, here we can add a name. For example, normal forces in columns. Normal forces in columns. Okay, and this table or this CSV file will be saved here. We can also save these sets in our computer and use it in projects in the future. To manage something, you can manage these lists, deleting something or just unchecking this option if you don't want to export one of these tables that you've created before. And here you can set the folder where these files will be exported. Okay, so I will accept here, and the CSV file will be exported. So I have here the same folder, and if I open my uh, Excel file, I will see here the name of the support, the dimensions, and the load, the normal load that was applied in this case. In this case, would be interesting to add the name of the load case, one column with the name of the load case, because as you can see here, for for a same column, we have different load cases. So it would be useful to know which load case is. Yeah, but yeah, the idea is you can select. It's up to you. You define which columns you want to export. Okay. So this option was implemented in 2025 C version. There are different types of data, as we saw before, that can be exported, but our idea is to increase the types and the number of data that can be exported like this in the future. Okay, so I recommend you to always come back here and see if you have more options to be exported to a CSV file, because I'm sure this is very useful, especially for those that are sending this information to someone or designing something manually or using another tool. Okay. Also telling about exporting things. Okay, here in the actually in the BIM definition tab. Okay, when we export our project to the BIMserver.center platform, so the project must be linked to the platform. And after analyzing the project, we can now export the rebars, all the details of the rebars of our project in IFC format directly here from CYPECAD. Okay, so this is a panel that is not new. Here we have different parameters that we can define to choose which kind of information we want to export to BIMserver.center, okay? And in this option here, reinforcement, we can activate it, and now you can export the reinforcements in IFC, okay? So you can select if it's gonna be one IFC with all the floors of the project or one IFC per floor. You can also decide if you want to include the description of the bars in the BVBS format in the IFC files. So actually, this option was available in the past versions in a software that is called Strubing Rebar, okay? But since 2025C, now you can export it directly here from CYPECAD, okay? So if you was using the Strubing Rebar just to export these IFCs or just to export the BVBS file, now you don't need to synchronize your project from CYPECAD with Strubing Rebar and then from Rebar export these files. Now you can export it directly from here, okay? So I think this is something that was a very good idea, because actually we in the past version we already had a 3D model. We could see the rebars exported from CYPECAD, but it wasn't in a IFC format, so it was necessary to use Strubing Rebar, and now you can also have this option here, okay? So remember, if you have a project synchronized with BIMserver.center, after analyzing the project, you can set how you want to export the reinforcements and also select IFC files directly from here from CYPECAD. Okay, regarding to the introduction of elements, let me just open an empty project here. Structural elements, actually, the options that we have to model structural elements, here in the beam definition tab, when we are introducing walls, we have some improvements too. Okay, so here we have a new option that is quite similar to that option to introduce beams in the previous versions of CYPECAD. Okay, so it's much easier to use this option. There are actually here three main options here. The first one is to set the properties of the wall. We have four types of structural walls here at CYPECAD. The first one is reinforced concrete wall. The second one is plain stress walls. Then we have reinforced concrete block wall, and we also have the masonry walls. Okay, so according to the option that you select, you can see that the parameters are different. In this case, I selected the concrete block wall. I must decide which is the type of block, the size of block, etc. So this panel, this window was improved. It's much easier now to select the type of wall that you want to model in your project. Okay, once you select it, then you have the options to model that are the same from the beams. For example, you can introduce something, introduce a wall manually like this. So you can snap elements and introduce the walls. You have options here to introduce a continuous element. Okay, for example, let me activate this one, something like this. Okay, and then if I use the right button of my mouse, I can finish this entry or delete the last point. For example, I will finish, okay? And then the wall will be introduced. And if we have a DWG file, a DXF file that was imported using the options that are here, we can snap these options. We can snap these lines, okay, these templates. So it's especially useful when you have, for example, curved lines or geometries that are a little bit different. So you can snap these elements. You can also apply some adjusts on left, center, or right, and also considering a little displacement in these adjustments. Okay, so from version 2025C, the introduction of walls is now the same system or the same way that we introduce the beams. Okay, and both are here side by side in the beam definition tab of CYPECAD. Okay. Another option related to export content, it's available here, okay? In the reports option, we have a new button here, this little button, where we can set the language of these reports, okay? So you can select between the same language as the program. So here I have my interface in English. CYPECAD was installed in English, uh, but I can now select a different language for the documents that will be exported. Okay, I can select here Brazilian Portuguese, Bulgarian, Catalan, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and different versions of Spanish for Argentina and Mexico. Okay, so I'll select here one example. For example, let's take, I don't know, German, for example. Let's accept. And let's select one type of reports, for example, foundation reports here. Okay, as you can see here, the interface was in German from this moment. Okay, uh, and let's see the documents in the selected language. Okay, so here you can see everything now is in German except for those elements, those data that were introduced by us in English. In this case, it was a project that was introduced in English. Okay, so uh, again, it's a very useful option, and there's a similar situation when we export the drawings. This is not just for reports, but here in the drawing options, you have the same button. And as you can see, the selection that I made before in the reports option, it's now also here available by default in the drawing selection option. But of course, we can change and export the language that we want. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about CYPE 3D, CYPE Connect, Stripping Steel. The first feature I want to share with you is related to the tags that we have when we classify elements here at CYPE 3D. Okay, we have this option here to create these tags. We can also activate and deactivate the 3D representation of these elements. Okay, so for each line we define a name and a color. Okay, and when we export this model using the options here from the BIMserver.center menu to the platform, to the BIMserver.center platform, and then we import this model here at True Steel, these tags now will be transferred from one software to another, from one project to another. Okay, so both the name and the colors of the tags defined at CYPE 3D now will be available here also at Strubing Steel. Okay, what's going to be much easier if you have a lot of layers and you have the same layers in both projects. I'm sure it's gonna be useful for you. Okay. Another option introduced here at Strubing Steel is this little button here to find connections. Okay, I recommend you to use this option with the transparent option of the layers activated, so it's gonna be easier to see the connections. So you just have to select here and introduce a part of the data of a selection connection. Okay, and they will be highlighted in the project. Could be just part of the word or the whole word. Okay, so you can filter with more precision if you want. Okay, remembering that the names of these connections, they will be also available in the list of documents when you export all the sheets, the drawings of the project. For each one of the connections we have the chance to create a drawing, and then it's going to be the same name. Okay. Okay, the last feature I want to show to you related to CYPE Connect and Strubbing Steel is that's now we can import SAP 2000 files, XML files. Okay, so we can import the structures, analyze it with SAP, and then design in the connections using CYPE Connect or Strubbing Steel. You can detail the structure here using the options that we have in both applications. Okay, here in Strubbing Steel, to do that, you have this option here, Strubbing Uploader. Okay, it's gonna create a new project in this case. And then you can select if you wanna import ETABS files or SAP 2000 files. Okay, ETABS was available since 2 or 3 versions ago, and SAP 2000 it's available since 2025 C version. Okay, at CyPEConics is going to be the same situation. When you create a project, you have this button here, Streaming Uploader. You can create a new project, and here you have these options. Okay, remembering that you must have a XML file exported from these softwares. Is not the file where you create the project. It's not the edition file. It's a file to transfer the information from SAP to CYPE. And in this case, you can bring in this file the information related to the geometry of the structure, the forces, and then use this information to design the connections. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing facilities. I'll start with CYPE plumbing. Okay, I have the software here in already working, and I would say this is the main feature. I could say that actually this is a new version of CYPE plumbing, the new 2025C version of CYPE plumbing. And it's the end of a project that we have been developing during the past months to integrate different apps that were launched before separately, and that are now available in a same interface. Okay, there are different features that were implemented here, but I think that the most important situation is that now we have three main tabs, three main design tabs. One that is for water systems, another one that is for the design of solar systems. That is actually the new feature of this version. So the solar systems that were before separated from the installation now can be designed together, and the sanitary systems. Okay, we also have here the layout tab that can be used to design, to create the drawings of our project. And remember that we also have the diagrams and the view of quantities of the project. So this is the most complete version of CYPE plumbing since the beginning, since of the history of the software. Everything now it's integrated here in the same interface. Okay, I like to deactivate here the model. So I have here the water systems tab selected. If I change to the solar systems, you see that the options available here, they are totally different. They are related to solar systems. And the same situation we have here for the sanitary systems, uh, with different options. Okay, but there's something that I think it's nice, and sometimes the people don't know that we have this option, is that we can, for example, deactivate the architectural elements. And somewhere, let me find here, look, it's a little bit difficult to find it. You have to scroll it here. You can activate the tabs that are not the tab that you are editing. So I am in the solar systems tab, so I can now visualize the information from the water systems tab and the sanitary systems tab. What is quite useful, especially if you have a complex installation. Okay, so the main idea to show to you in this presentation this new feature is to uh, inform that now we have one only just one CYPE plumbing. Okay, CYPE plumbing with everything that is related to the design of water systems, solar systems, and sanitary systems. Okay, in the next weeks we will have a special seminar just to show the new features of CYPE plumbing, because we have a list of them here. Let me open here CYPE plumbing. So changing the management of vertical pipes in the sanitary systems tab, the alignment of horizontal pipes, some improvements related to the diagrams. Now it's possible to create the solar systems diagrams using this new tab. Okay, so we'll have a seminar specific to show these changes and see how you can import your projects from the previous versions of CYPE plumbing, where everything was developed separated in 3 different IFCs, and now you can import this information to this version of CYPE and have a merged file IFC with everything that is related to plumbing. Okay, so pay attention in our schedule, in our agenda, because we will be publishing this seminar in a few days. Okay. Okay, so let's keep talking about MEP. Let's jump to CYPE hydraulic systems. Okay, our software to design sprinkler systems, hydraulic systems. We also have a seminar specific for this software in a few days. But one of the features that I think it's important to show is that from this version you can see the detail of the connections in the fittings between the pipes of your project. And there's a new feature that you can edit one of these elements. Okay, using the tab button you can alternate between elements that are near the node of the connection. Okay, and here you can apply special pressure loss coefficients different from those that are in the project general data. Okay, so here you can apply these loss coefficients. It's another feature that was implemented here in this version 2025C, but remember that we will have a specific seminar showing more details about CYPEHVAC hydraulic systems. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about project management. Let's talk a little bit about bill of quantities. Let me open here open bin quantities. Okay, our software to read IFC models, read federated open bin models, and then develop uh, bill of quantities. And we have here a new feature that is very special for our users in Malaysia. Okay, so for those users from Malaysia, we have good news for you. We've just introduced it here in the options that we have here in the quantities of the bin model tab, the cost database from Malaysia. Okay, so if you open here, you see in your software this option that is in blue here, that is the Malaysia SMM2 cost database. Okay, just remembering that those cost databases that are available here in the software, by default they are blocked, so you cannot edit it, but you can create copies of that Malaysia copy, for example, and the copy can be accessed and edited. Okay, so if you open here, you see that the chapters, the structure of these chapters are related to the SMM2. Okay, it's also important to remember that for each one of the items of a cost database and each one of the items of the B model, we must create correlation between these types of data. So parts of the B model and parts of the cost database. And here at Open Bin Quantities, we use the options to create sets of measurement rules to correlate this data from the B model and from the cost database. And in this case, you see that we also have here, and maybe this is the best part, a huge list of a set of measurement rows that were created according to the SMM2, and this is not just a criteria, a simple criteria. It's part of the law of Malaysia. Okay, so good news for users from Malaysia. Open Bin Quantities now have the SMM2 cost database. All right, so yeah, I think we can finish here. We saw 18 different features. As I said before, there are much more. We have these other seminars that I really invite you, really recommend to you to assist. Okay, but I think it was a good session. We could see different areas. We saw something related to architecture, bill of quantities, structures, also something related to MEP. So yeah, I think it was a good session. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope I can see you in next opportunity.